Smart 24, driving business.
Well, good to have you back again. 5 minutes of 8 o'clock. Good morning again. This is Smart Means Business. Jerome and Mercy in the morning. We kick off this hour, though, with our business quotes and tip of the day. That quote says that to win without risk is to triumph without glory. And of course, we can as well help you to win here on Smart 24 television by winning in regards to investment. Start 292# is the USSD code that you can use to kickstart off your investment journey and maybe become a winner in the long run in there. Remember, with the Zabu platform, you can invest in government bonds and other securities with the platform. What you need to do is kickstart off your investment with Zabu. Start 292# is the USSD code. Register with the platform and with your national identification number. After you're done with registration, in the next 24 hours or so, you will be able to kickstart off your investment journey with Zabu. Zabu says, my money, my future, and All Things East Africa reminds you to do something new. Well, with something new can you choose to do today? Invest in government bonds and other securities. With the markets opening up at 8:15 a.m., their closing time at 3:15 p.m. East African Standard Time. They're only fully closed on days like this, which are public holidays and on the weekends. Zabu, my money, my future. And now let's get into our social media trends this morning. Our social media trends in the last 24 hours or so were rotating around Uganda as the Pearl of Africa. And to sum that up, yesterday we had a tourism space on our Twitter handle, Smart24TV Now, where we had discussions from various stakeholders within domestic tourism. But besides that, let's get into context with exploring the Pearl of Africa and what Ugandans can easily know. And maybe you, as a parent out there who's thinking of where you can enjoy your ED Day celebrations, here is a context for you.
Now this is Winnie Byanyima at Winnie Byanyima, and she says, I miss the birds, I miss the colors. Uganda, indeed the Pearl of Africa. You can see right there the flowers, the beauty, the green definitely really shows how resourceful, how we are really, we have good nature.
Well, and of course, we all know how powerful Winnie Byanyima is, by the way. So when she comes out and gives kudos to the country, she stands for the brand as well.
That's a weird picture right there.
At Kayondo Ibrahim, I think those are pictures that were actually showing Ugandans that the reproduction process within our tourism sites it's very okay. So if in case we find other baby cubs or we find cubs, we know where they come from.
Well, this is Kayondo Ibrahim, and he says Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, views of Queen Elizabeth National Park in Kasese district. Wow. Quite amazing creatures, lions, the big five, among the big five.
Yeah, and of course, when you continuously look at Uganda's tourism sector, and blessed at Sky Kevu says, my Uganda, my lovely pal, Good morning, Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. Good morning, the world. That's a lovely scenery in southwestern Uganda.
That's Lake Bunyonyi right there. Wow, beautiful, beautiful. Wow, wow. You should have you tried going to Lake Bunyonyi?
No, I haven't been to southwestern Uganda. I've not been to Kigezi sub-region.
You should come on my ticket, definitely. I'll take you and be a tour guide, for the day. Beautiful right there. There is an island. There is an island in form of a guitar.
Oh, I've also seen a highland that looks more like the African map somewhere.
Beautiful.
I think in southwestern Uganda as well.
Now this is Explore Uganda, Pearl of Africa, and of course at Explore UG Pearl, and it says good morning world, wishing you a blissful week from Pearl of Africa. As you can see, those are the crested cranes, our national birds right there. Peaceful and looking beautiful as the colors of our flags right there, graceful just like the people of Uganda. So definitely, if you want to have a look at the different destinations, you could actually try out. Today is Eid for the Muslims out there. You could try to go to the source of the Nile. You can go to southwestern Uganda and have quite amazing sceneries and adventures to keep for memories. Actually, now this is Blessed still, and she says, "Good morning, Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. You can visit Windy National Park. It's another amazing place. As you can see, the accommodation right there, beautiful houses, and of course the picture right there is, wow, it's out of this world. If you shared something like this, people would definitely want to come. People from the US, they love such things. Yeah. Like, oh my God, this is interesting.
And I've actually loved something about the entire scenery. Yes,
photography.
The content creators are making wonders with that kind of content. And also, you realize that most of the Ugandans, more so happily married Ugandans, now seek for their honeymoon within the countries.
Yeah, the honeymoon.
So it shows a lot.
I would definitely have my honeymoon in Uganda. I mean, why would I have to travel?
Yeah, yet we still have places I haven't been to. So yeah, very true.
Yeah. And of course, this is Muwonge Umar, and he says Uganda will forever be the Pearl of Africa. Hashtag Explore Uganda. Wow, embraced in domestic tourism. Way to go, please. Do visit the different sites. And you could have yourself a feel. Recently I was talking to Andrew, and we're discussing about tourism still, and I was asking him, what is the one thing you'd want to do if you went for an adventure or tour and that you would be scared to do, but then you want to do it because it seems fun when others are doing it, like you say bungee jump. It's one of the craziest things, I must say.
Bungee jumping.
Oh my God.
I've actually been told if you do bungee jumping, you can't do two at the same time.
You die.
Because it tortures you, it mentally tortures you and scares you. But of course, there are people who are actually risk takers and they do it twice because of the fact that the state it leaves you in, you're shocked, your tummy, there's a lot of body reactions at that time because of all the emotions that rotate around you.
Now, this is Chizito Alicia. And of course, at Laisha Chizito, and she says Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, is truly gifted by nature and endowed with a great fauna and flora. Now, that's a crater right there. Beautiful, the picture. Wow, the elephant, the gorilla, and of course, right there, Lake Bunyonyi, as you can see it. Of course, that was what we had for you for the social media trends. Do care to visit those sites. Please take pictures, love your country, share with friends, post on your social medias to promote our tourism sites in Uganda.
And well, you never know, it will be the key role that we're playing in making sure that Uganda's tourism industry is growing. Now we have Andrew Barigi, who is on standby this morning, where he's here at Bugolobi. That is at the meat packers, or what you could call the Bugolobi abattoir. Lufula, that is the Ugandan dialect word, if you're to look at that. Now, Andrew Barigi is going to give us details in regarding to the celebrations ahead of Eid al-Fitr. We are already celebrating it now because Muslims are heading to mosques as we speak to kickstart off with the prayers. Then after the prayers are done, slaughtering starts. The business community, though, is definitely one of those that is always prepared for such good days. Andrew Berige is at Meat Packers now. He's definitely going to be giving us an observation in regards to the environment at Meat Packers. Andrew, yes, good morning. Thank you for joining us. What do you have on ground apparently there?
Thank you very much, and of course I'm coming live here at the abattoir just opposite to Port Bell Road, as you can observe the situation in here. But not surprisingly, if you came here at this very time as I speak right now, you could probably think actually that, well, there are quite lots of people, but definitely you'll be surprised that according to the anticipations and the expected numbers of the people that are into this place, today it has not yet met the expected standard as compared to the previous EDs, the previous celebrations and all that. Definitely, it's quite very interesting, so that can paint for you a picture and get to understand how has it been like in the past years when it comes to the celebration of ED here in the country, Uganda. But definitely, before I go into any further related discussions, I have one of the stakeholders into this very abattoir and is going to be giving us something. Maybe probably is a little bit busy, but definitely that is the situation as you observe it here. Quite a mild number of people into this area. At this time, let me get closer to this very gentleman as we get some further insights in regarding to the day-to-day at the ED. Okay. Kakati okusinziira nga olaba ebintu olwaleero abantu bajjumbidde okugula ebintu.
Abantu tebajjumbidde era ennyama eno tukyagenda ku midaala. Abantu tebalabika ennyama tugitonze layisi mutwalo gumu 2,000 gumusa situbalaba.
Mpuliddeko nina abantu benjogeddeko nabo ne bagamba nti kati ennyama y'ente eri ku gumu kitundu, ey'embuzi eri ku 2,000. Simanyi emiwendo gino gyawukana oba oli
gyawukana. Wano we tusuubuliza gumu 2. Naye bweri mu butale tutunze gumu kitundu. Wano Lumigana Meat Packers tusuubuza mutwalo gumu 2,000, embuzi mutwalo gumu n'ekitundu. Ebweri eri ku 2,000.
Kakati bulijjo before Eid eno nga tennatuuka ennaku endala zo emiwendo gibadde gitya?
Emiwendo gibadde wati wa gumu 3 n'ogumu 4 nnyama y'ente. Embuzi kati eri ku gumu. Ey'embuzi ebadde ku gumu 6 kati eri ku 2,000. Olwa Eid twongera muko ku Meat Packers.
Kakati mu embeera zino nga ogambye nti ennyama abantu tebajjumbidde kugula, kati ennyama enebe esigadde omugenda gikolera ki?
Ennyama
mugitunze abantu
tujja gisala ku bbeeyi oba gireko mu firiji lugino olunaku oluddako kubanga tulina wano firiji bwe batetambula gireka mu firiji nebeeramu.
Naye golooza ki ekiviriddeko okubanga embeera eno eri bwetyo kubanga abantu tebajjumbidde nnyo bintu?
Embeera okubeera bwetyo olwali luno olunaku lwa Eid abasiraamu basala ebisolo byabwe, baguze ente ne bagula embuzi beesalira ebisolo. Kyenvudde embeera kuba nti ennyama letambudde abasinga baguze ente n'embuzi ne basala.
Ekirungi nnyo ekyo neyanziza nnyo ssebo insight eyo. All right, of course he's been giving us the insight depending on the situation, how it's really looking. And according to what he said, the different prices of the meat, 15,000, that's the beef. That's on when you go out there to the markets, but on the wholesale, you'll get it at around 13,000, here at this very place of the Meat Packers. But as compared to other places, it's quite very, quite a little bit expensive. Now, he mentioned something which could probably be of great concern, that well, perhaps, what are you going to do for the meat that is going to stay? Assuming, the people don't buy to the expectations. And, he mentioned something about, preserving it effectively. But, sometimes that's what causes worries by some Ugandans thinking, okay, what if I buy this meat when it's a little bit spoiled? Anyway, that is all as a result of the excess production and limited demand into a place, as you can observe. Now, still further for the people, when I made further inquiries to the people that want to, for example, want to purchase a full goat, a very mature goat, you must be ready to part with about 700,000 Ugandan shillings at such a time. But the wholesale price where these goats are gotten from the way far countries, from the way far parts of the city, that we're talking about 250,000, the amount of money that is needed for you to get that. That is from that side. Now, when it comes here in town, that's where we're talking about 700,000. So that is how the entire situation is really rotating around on today's celebration. Now, of course, when it comes to cattle, you want to buy a full cow, just be ready to part away with about 2.6 million Ugandan shillings and 3 million Ugandan shillings. Talking about a sensible bull which you could probably want to, you're Muslim out there and you want to offer something to the village people, yes, be ready to part away with that amount of money if you are to really be successful at what you are doing. Well, he mentioned something that lately the reason as why there is some sort of a limited demand when it comes to the meat, people coming in here. People nowadays, the Muslims, cut for themselves the animals. I mean, they get these animals, they cut them, and, they don't really need to come to the abattoir, to buy the meat and all do that. So that explains all this situation. And we anticipate the prices to extend to at least a space of about 2 weeks, as compared. Yes, so you must be, if you're a person that likes eating meat, you should be ready to actually part away with at least 15,000, 20,000 if you love goat meat for the next 2 weeks, something which I believe is going to be quite a little bit costly according to that. And now the reason why that is coming about is that majority of the people bought these animals, and at the end of the day there is what they call hoarding. Yes, hoarding. So that means it's going to create some sort of a scarcity onto the market. And you know what happens when there is a scarcity? Definitely, in most cases, the prices tend to go at quite, a mild state or a little bit high as compared to the different prices. So that is how it is like. So I know if you could be somewhere out there and probably today you feel like, I should do some business and invest in meat, well, think twice about it, because according to how we are seeing the things moving in here, it's not really the best as such. And also explaining the fact that there is massive, high prices of goods and services. Of course, we know the economy has not really been operating at its best in the past, despite the fact that we see some of the key factors that are leading to the increased prices, such as fuel, declining a little bit. We've not yet started to experience, of course, despite the fact that the economy is anticipated to grow, the inflation is reducing, but at some point people don't seem to be like they're experiencing that reality when it comes to, them living and feeling that, okay, yes, inflation is reducing. So that explains why we can see whatever we're seeing. Probably those few families that are quite established are the ones that we are seeing that are in position to come into this place and actually buy for the families the different commodities, the different merchandise that is needed, that is for Eid, for the Eid celebration. So let us see how this really turns out to be. But according to the overall look of things, when it comes to people respecting the day in terms of it being a public holiday, that has been really met to the maximum, like I'll say, because if you move around town, across these abattoirs, you get to realize that it's quite, there are not so many people, but they are slightly congested into such areas like this abattoir here opposite the Port Bell Road. So, but when it comes to the other side of celebrating it in terms of purchasing the required merchandise, buying the meat, well, it doesn't seem to be the best for the people in here. Like I told you when I was introducing this, for you when you look here, you might, if it's your first time probably to come in here, you might think, oh, there has been a huge turn up, but you'll be surprised that it would actually be much more. You see, you can be trying to come inside in here, the entrance is quite a little bit congested, but on the other past years, it was even much more worse than this, according to the look of things. Yes, so let us see by the time this day ends how businesses are going to be. Definitely different people celebrate at different times. Some people will first go to the mosques and go worship. Then after they head to celebrations. When it comes to feasting with the different families, loved ones, and communities at the same time, it's quite very prominent. So the situation is in here. But of course, despite the fact that I say that the people are not many as anticipated, it doesn't mean that you should be careless on how you move. Otherwise, you might end up landing into a panga or some sort of blood, because there are quite many people that move with animals, and some are carrying offals from the cow's belly and moving all over this area. So you can really definitely see how it is like there. You have to be quite very careful if you're planning to come to the abattoir and purchase some meat in there. So you can take a look. Different people, of course, carrying different goats. Like I told you, goats now coming for about 700,000. But of course, that is not that kind. It might be a little bit mature. 700,000, which hasn't been the case before. Yes, of course, those shows you the different orders people are making for the different animals, goats, sheep, cows, Of course, so many more. Of course, I've not seen a cow being dragged into here. Majority of them are being cut just at the back there. And actually, I'll say that if you're somebody that is not used to being near blood, don't come to this area. Probably you could send somebody to purchase for you the different required items. And that, I guess, that will be quite very essential and key when it comes to, you going through the day quite efficient, and you celebrate it with fun, not having that trauma of seeing blood as how it ought to be. Well, that is the situation like here at the abattoir that's just opposite the Port Bell Road. The situation is a little bit mild as compared to what can be anticipated to be seen. There are quite not so many people, of course, due to the different economic challenges facing the different people. That's the situation right here. And now let me take you back to studio with Joram and Massey, and definitely as they all keep driving your business.
Andrew Berige for that. You can easily see the observation of the kind of situation going on at the meat packers, and ideally it's not that busy as we expect it to be.
I mean, we said after prayers, that's when things will commence. So definitely they're bringing in the animals so that the after prayers, they do them mercilessly, like and it's done.
And of course the slaughtering will definitely be followed up immediately after the prayers, according to the plans from the Muslim Brotherhood. But as we continue to give you more updates, stick around with us. After the break we have latest from sports business and entertainment business. Stick around with us. Good morning.
Smart 24, driving business.